It's time for the Comic Bin Comic Book Podcast. The podcast you look forward to for all of your news and reviews of the best comic books hitting stands. Whether it's DC,
Batman, Wonder Woman,
Marvel,
Spider-Man,
Image,
Spawn, Saga,
Boom,
Once and Future, Power Rangers,
or whatever book or publisher you follow,
we cover them all here.
this is the place for you.
That's right, it's for everyone.
This is the Comic Bin Comic Book Podcast.
Let's get it.
Hey folks, welcome to another episode of the Comic Bin Comic Book Podcast. I am your host, Theo, again reporting in for day 2 of New York Comic Con here in New York City at the Javits Center. So spent the second day there, being Friday, which was a little bit more busier when you consider the crowd size. So day 2 recap. Went to a couple of panels. They started much earlier than it did last time. That Thursday I got there way later than I expected to, but that was not the case today, although I had a major faux pas on my part. So I was scheduled to sit down and interview Jackson Lansing and Heather Anthos. They are a part of the creative team over at IDW that are in the Star Trek universe. Jackson Lansing, of course, is writing The Last Starship with Colin Kelly, and Heather Anthos is the group editor of the Star Trek universe over at IDW. So I was expecting on interviewing them today, and according to my calendar, I was supposed to meet them for 2:30 p.m. this afternoon. However, the faux pas was that I put the appointment in my calendar as 11:30 Pacific Standard Time when it should have been 11:30 Eastern Standard Time. So I was actually scheduled to meet with them at 11:30 this morning instead of 2:30 this afternoon. So major faux pas on my part, completely my mistake, and I want to apologize to them for that. I did reach out to the folks at IDW, the PR guy who I typically talk to when these matters occur when I meet guests. He was the one who got me connected with Tim Seeley and Oliver Ono on yesterday. But we are going to have them on the show one day. We're going to let things settle down from New York Comic Con, and I'm looking forward to having Jackson Lansing and Heather Anthos and possibly even Colin Kelly on the show in the near future to talk about what's going on in the Star Trek universe, not just with The Last Starship, but also their time writing the main Star Trek book before that ended a few months ago with IDW. But man, I was so excited to interview those two, especially Heather Anthos. I've been looking and trying to interview her since 2021 when she first popped up as a guest over at Fan Expo New Orleans, and I just wasn't able to do so then, and I finally had a chance to do so today, and I just totally brain farted when I put that appointment in my calendar for the three of us to meet. But again, that was my mistake. I am hoping to get together with them real soon. But had a good time. Went to a couple of panels. The DC panel was crazy, especially when you consider the really crazy news coming out of it. When you look at what's going on in DC with DCKO, the big announcement from Scott Snyder, and it was absolutely insane when the slide popped up from the PowerPoint on the screen when it was announced that some non-DC characters would be making their way into DCKO. And when you think about it, I could understand some of the characters. So I know, that DC and Dynamite have a partnership going on right now. There's the Harley Quinn Elvira series that's happening over there at Dynamite. So I could easily understand there being Dynamite characters showing up on the DC side. And so we got confirmation of that today with the slide that basically showed Vampirella and Red Sonja from the Dynamite universe showing up. But also of interest showing up on that slide was Sub-Zero from Mortal Kombat, Homelander from The Boys, and Samantha Strong from Beneath the Trees Where No One Sees over at IDW. And that's the weird one. I wonder if that was some type of agreement between them and IDW, or if they made an agreement with the author himself to Hovach to have Samantha show up in DCKO. But that was quite an interesting piece in that presentation from DC Comics. One of the other things that I did, and it was one of the things I did before I left for the afternoon, I stopped at a booth that invited me to come over and shoot some of their product. They are, make sure I'm pronouncing this correctly, it's pronounced KO, and it's spelled KAYOU. Now, you have to understand, Louisiana boy here. You see something like that, I see something like that. I'm pronouncing it KU, similar to how we pronounce Bayou. But it's pronounced KO. And they do trading cards. And so they're just entering the US market from Japan. And in this first line of cards that they are producing in the US, they're producing My Little Pony, and they're producing Tokidoki and Naruto cards. And so they showed me around the booth. I was able to speak with the general manager, who showed me around and talked to me a little bit about what they're producing and what will be coming out. A lot of stuff is going to be coming out in the first quarter of 2026. But it was quite interesting looking at what they were offering and the cards that they had produced thus far. And so some of the other things that they had at that booth was actually some cards that were not available in the US market, but they were hoping to do so in the near future due to licensing. I was really interested to see they had actually Tom and Jerry trading cards. So, old timer like me, you see something like that, it brings a smile to your face. But I am going to have that video up on our YouTube page. And hopefully in the next week I got to do some editing on it. But again, it was an interesting tour of that booth and seeing what they have available. But I want to thank those guys for the invite and allowing me to see what they are bringing to the U.S. market here in the near future. Again, it'll be 2026 in no time. But that is it for this one, this day 2 recap. Again, I went to a couple of panels, hung around at the press lounge for most of the day. I was really trying to get the video for day 1 uploaded. It took a little bit longer than I expected for some reason. And day 3 is tomorrow, Saturday. And I got a lot going on, including heading over to a press event from Crunchyroll and going to see what those guys have going on. So I'm excited about that one. As you all know, I am slowly trying to get the site and get our reviews to start covering manga and anime as well. So I'm going to be going over by the Crunchyroll press event tomorrow. And then tomorrow evening, I'll be heading out to a party that Titan Comics is throwing. They invited me to that, and I was happy to accept. So I'll be taking a look at that on tomorrow evening with Titan Comics. And then, of course, there are a couple of panels that I will be sitting in and enjoying and taking part of. So that is going to do it with my day 2 recap of New York Comic Con here in New York City. The weather is still beautiful. I was expecting it to feel a little bit colder today, but for some reason it didn't. It felt, I don't want to say the word mild, just slightly less than mild, but for me being someone who is a fan of cool weather, it was very pleasant. So I truly enjoyed that. But I will be back tomorrow with a day 3 recap. I was actually looking at my calendar, or at least the schedule for Sunday as well, to see what panels I'll be going to there. And it looks like for the most part I will probably be doing, there's some anime and some manga ones that will be going on Sunday. I'll probably be taking part in that. But that will do it for my day 2 recap of New York Comic Con 2025. I will see you guys again next time for my day 3 recap. And until then, you guys take care. That is going to do it for this episode of the Comic Ben Comic Book Podcast. I'd like to thank you all for your continued support of the program. The Comic Ben Podcast, as well as the Comic Book Spot, are a part of the Comic Book Source family of sites and media. You can follow the podcast on Twitter X at comic_Ben, or my personal account at BatmanFan_4life. You can also find us on Facebook, Instagram, Blue Sky, and Threads. We're all over social media. You can also follow our sister site over at thebatmanuniverse.net for all of your news and reviews in the world of Batman. Tune in next time as we give you more in the world of comic books. Again, we truly appreciate your support. But until we meet again next time, keep reading those comics.